In this video, we're discussing the Miami Latino accent.
What? You literally think I have an accent? That's like super cute of you to say that. No, because supposedly I didn't think I had one. Bro, I'm like, I don't believe you. That's so amazing. Stop. Now I'm like embarrassed. What about now? Do I still have it?
Now, to be clear, not all Latinos in Miami have this accent, and not everybody who has the accent is a Latino. With that in mind, where did this accent come from? Before the beaches, before the nightlife, before the skyline, South Florida was home to the Tequesta people. For thousands of years, they lived along the Miami River and Biscayne Bay, fishing, trading, and building settlements across the region. But in the 1500s, Spanish explorers arrived, and like across much of the Americas, colonization brought disease, violence, and displacement. Within a few centuries, the Tequesta population had largely disappeared. Florida then passed between Spanish and British control, and slavery became embedded in the colonial economy. But despite all of this, Miami was still barely a city. For most of its early history, it was a remote frontier settlement, and that wouldn't change until the late 19th century. And the people who physically built the city were largely black workers who helped construct railroads, roads, and early buildings. But like many American cities at the time, Miami was deeply segregated. Black residents were pushed into neighborhoods like Overtown, while white residents controlled most of the economic power. For decades, Miami operated under Jim Crow segregation. At this time, Miami sounded like any other southern city, mostly English-speaking, mostly divided along racial lines. Linguistically, nothing unusual just yet, but that was about to change dramatically. In 1959, a single geopolitical event reshaped Miami forever: the Cuban Revolution. Almost overnight, thousands of Cubans fled the island and arrived in Miami. But this wasn't a small migration wave. Over the next decades, hundreds of thousands arrived, then millions. And it didn't stop with Cuba. More migration followed from across Latin America and the Caribbean. Entire communities relocated to Miami. Businesses opened, Spanish language media exploded, schools filled with bilingual students. By the late 20th century, something remarkable had happened. Miami had become the most Hispanic major city in the United States. Today, over 70% of Miami residents are Latino, which leads to an important linguistic question. What happens when millions of Spanish speakers raise children in an English-speaking country? The answer is, language begins to mix, and that's how the Miami Latino accent was formed. Now, with that historical context in mind, let's discuss some key components of this accent. The first component is the stretching of I and O vowels. You'll hear it with words like no, over, like, and live.
So this comment is actually funny, and I actually saw it. Actually, really proving the comment. And so I didn't know that I had this accent until I went back to California, which is where I was born, and I lived there till I was 9 years old.
Everybody always saying, oh, I want to move to Miami. Oh, I want to live the tropical life. Let me show you what Miami is like. And you're going to get this wherever you move.
The second component is a strong R sound. This is where you can really hear that Latino influence.
I'm literally currently on a field trip. I'm on my way to my husband's company party, and it's all the way in Fort Lauderdale, aka Casa Carajo. And it got me wondering, a lot of people, especially on here, that comment on my videos and whatever, you talk about how you were born and raised here and then you moved away and you live in Colorado or whatever, Virginia, all those other places.
That 2019 is over. And since I just turned 22, I'm kind of looking at it as like a new year, you know? And it's honestly been great. I've had a great year so far. But I just dealt with a lot of anxious feelings, negativity.
The third component is a completely different rhythm to other Floridian accents. Typically, English stresses certain syllables strongly, whereas Spanish distributes stress more evenly, and this gives the Miami English accent a slightly different rhythm. Listen to these clips.
Alright guys, I want to talk to you about the Miami accent. I made another post that touched on the subject, and like typical, you get people going, Yo no tengo un acento! Me? An accent? How dare you? Bro, all I gotta tell you is spend, no sé, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meses outside of Miami. You turn on the television and watch some guy by the last name of Ramirez start talking. In English, of course, in English. and you're gonna hear the Miami accent. Right away, you're gonna be like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Joke's on you, because I didn't come from an island. Okay, I just want to talk about a situation that happened that I think is a little crazy. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm at work, I'm talking to one of my coworkers, and then this other coworker, had nothing to do with the conversation, goes, "Do you know that when you talk, you have a really thick Miami accent?" I was like, I mean, I've been told, but I don't hear it on myself, obviously, because you're not going to hear it on yourself. And I don't think my Miami accent is that bad.
Now, the fourth component, as you probably already heard in this video, is the effortless code switching between Spanish and English. Now, this isn't with everybody, but it is something that you'll hear in Miami.
She says that the most eligible bachelor of this season is Fernando Mendoza. She says he's gonna be at the ball tonight. No way. She also says Pitbull's gonna guest star at the ball tonight. Todo mundo va a estar ahí. Pero this time, this ball is not free. It's not like the John Summit concert. Ella tan cómica.
So the fifth component I'd like to discuss is that rising intonation, especially at the end of sentences, even when somebody from Miami isn't asking a question.
A mission. I don't really think that's an original Miami word, but I'm gonna still say either way. For example, a mission, like I remember I had to do a few missions after high school, and it was hot as yo, we will wear shit like this. Like, man, listen, Floridians, Miamians, yo, we are some sick, psychotic, crazy motherfuckers. Like, we will wear this in 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100-degree weather. We'll wear a jacket, long pants, and we'll be like, yo, like...
Notice that rise at the end of sentences. Let me know what you think about the pronunciation points mentioned down in the comments below. Whilst there, if you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, let's discuss some key words and phrases that you're likely to hear in Miami. The first is bro. You can hear somebody calling their brother, bro, sister, auntie, mother, boyfriend, girlfriend, it doesn't matter. Bro is pretty universal in Miami.
Bro, even so, do I have a Miami accent? I need somebody that's not from Florida to debunk if I have a Miami accent or not. Obviously, starting off saying bro was not the correct way to go about it. But like speaking normally, like if I was like, hey, like what's up? Like, is that giving Miami or is that like, you know? Because I feel like Miami accents are so subtle and I don't think I have one. But then I get around people that are like born and raised in Miami and I can hear it like a little bit, but it's like subtle. Like you have to really like look for it and like know that like you're looking for it.
The second is dale.
Dale. Dale is a very versatile word. I think that I've already spoken of a few that are a complete sentence. Dale is a complete sentence, but the meaning is what your face does, what your hands do, and what your tone is like. So the meaning changes with your demeanor, okay? So for example, you could say, Mr. 305 uses it as a very encouraging word. Dale, go ahead, green light, give it your all. That is his dale, an encouraging dale. See, dale, which is just go. You also have dale, adios. That is how you end the call. Dale, adios. But then you have the one way to use dale that is perfected by your mother. That is, go around and find out. Dale, dale, atrévete, dale. That one, that is the one that we all know. That is the most important dale.
The third is like.
Okay,
That's funny.
Challenge. The rest of the podcast, we cannot say like unless literally like you need. Oh my god. Okay, wait, because now I'm getting triggered by my. So, no like unless the sentence or the thought requires. I'm thinking about reversing.
That's not gonna work. That's not.
No. Oh.
That's not gonna work because we're
Trust
going
me,
to.
I'll make it work.
Oh, slow. Also, that's funny that Courtney.
I'm literally listening. No, this is actually a psychological crisis I'm going.
The fourth is literally, but it said literally.
This is my impression of a girl that was born and raised in Miami and is convinced she doesn't have a Miami accent. No, like literally, that's like so crazy because that guy was being like so rude to me and I had to tell him like he needed to stop with that.
The fifth is supposedly.
What is the most Miami phrase?
Supposedly. Just like that. Supposedly.
The 6th is super.
I try really hard not to have an accent, but the truth is that I kind of talk like this all the time, and I really just am a chonga. English is my second language. I'm from Miami, Florida. My parents are Cuban American, and I just talk like this. And I click my tongue, you know, I do all that because that's real. That's how I am. But I try my best at work and other places to speak as clearly as possible so that everyone can understand. And I have super, like, trauma when it comes to my accent. The first week that I lived in Chicago, I lived there for 5 years, the guy at the deli at Whole Foods was like, "Where are you from? What's this accent?" And I was like, what accent? What accent?
The 7th is pero like.
Pero like, bro, pero like, where you, like, what? You just have to say pero like before anything. Yeah, like we were gonna go out, but like we stayed in. Makoto was so good, yeah, but like, honestly, sugarfish is better.
And the 8th is irregardless.
Tell me you're from Miami without telling me that you're from Miami. Irregardless.
So as mentioned earlier, not all Latinos in Miami sound like this, but this is an accent that you're likely to hear in Miami. What would be interesting to know is what you guys think about this accent. Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it to somebody else who may find it interesting. If you like accents, culture, and language, I've got a newsletter where I discuss this stuff every week. I'm going to link it down in the description. I'm also going to link all my other accent explained videos up here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I shall see you in the next one. Peace.